Hey everybody, welcome back to this Extreme Warfare Adventure Series. My name is Andy, the uncommentator for episode number 14, I think we're on now, of this series where I am booking Control Your Narrative. Now you can see there, we are currently on the 1st of May 2025. I'm recording this on Friday the 13th, so hopefully that's not a omen for how well this video is going to go, but it's currently Friday the 13th, 2025. So just to give that a reference, I don't... Is there any big events coming up this weekend? There will be somewhere. There's no EWR or WWE pay-per-view that I can think of. I think is it Dominion this weekend? That's normally in the middle of June. But anyway, that's not important. What is important is what's going to be taking place in this video, and we're going to be back to something like normality. So in the last video, I only recorded one show. I recorded one video, but there was only one show on it. That's what I meant. But yeah, we're going to be going back to normal in this video, and we're going to be recording 2 shows. Now, if you haven't watched the last video, then you won't know this, but you should have watched the last video, so you should already know this. I lost my TV deal, so we're down to 1 show a week. However, Hulu very kindly offered to throw offered us a TV deal, so now we're back up to 2 shows. Now I haven't actually put the TV deal into the schedule yet, so I've done a bit of planning. I know what's going to happen going forward, so just very, very quickly catch you up, and then we'll crack on, because I don't want this video to go on forever, and you don't want to listen to me go on forever. So I've increased the advertising campaign for what it's worth, based on the advice of the financial team. We've also increased merchandising, so hopefully more Joe Hendry t-shirts or Patrick Clark, more Blacklist t-shirts will fly off the shelf, I don't know. Oh, that weird, what was that? They had that society t-shirt, didn't they? We live in a society and we don't like it very much. It was something like that, in real life. So maybe we'll sell a few more of those. And hopefully we increase the advertising, we'll actually may get 200 fans as opposed to about 170 like we are getting at the minute. Or indeed, get a better television audience. Speaking of television then, let's sort out the show. So I've got a name for it. It's pretty terrible, but it's the best I could come up with. And I've sorted out a day. So the show that I had previously that was I didn't renew the contract for, After Dark, that took place on a Thursday, I think. However, we seem to have had our slot stolen. Our Thursday night slot is now with NWA Thursday. So I've had a look at the TV schedule, and we're going to start a war. Forget Raw versus Nitro, forget NXT versus Dynamite, forget anything else that was counter-programmed. There was Impact in Raw briefly in 2010, I think. Forget that. No. That's not the big war now, because we're going to be going on Wednesday late evening. So you all know what that means, what we're going to be up against. Our new show is going to be up against OVW Wrestling. So hopefully we're not too terrible that the crowd will chant OV-dub during our event. But yeah, we're taking on Al Snow. That's what we're going to do. I hope he's ready, because we are both barrels. We're taking him on. So that's where we're going to be. That's where our new show is going to be. So where are we? Al Snow, we're coming for you. Where is he? There he is. Now my concern here is he's nearly going to go up to cult status. He's 92% regional. If he goes up to cult, then competing with him might be difficult. But let's worry about that. But let's worry about that when if and when it happens. We're going for it. So that's where our new show is going to be. So let's actually put it in place. I did say Wednesday, didn't I? Yeah. Just make sure I pick the right day. So Wednesday, and I'm calling the show Liberty, which is a pretty terrible name, I know, but it's the best I could come up with. So CYN Liberty is going to debut on this coming Wednesday on Hulu. And we're going to have, obviously, Adnan, the voice of Control Your Narrative. And we're going to have, of course, Ethan Carter III joining him in the booth. I may change my commentary team at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right, so that's the show. That's the new TV show booked, or in place, I should say. In terms of the May event, I've put that in the calendar. This is the longest introduction I've ever done to video. So it's going to be the 23rd of May, and it's going to be called War Without Peace. You know, because War and Peace is a book, and Control Your Narrative, but we're saying there's no peace because it's a war. So War Without Peace, you see, the little books. So that's the event we're going to be building up to. So let's, instead of talking about it, let's get on with it, because we're 5 minutes into this video and I haven't actually done anything of substance yet. But we've set the table for May. We know what's coming. So yeah, let's crack on. Let's get on with it. So the next show is going to be Disruption on Monday. Oh, actually, I'm just thinking about it. Actually, the last video, Big Japan Wrestling announced their rosters, and I said I'll have a look at them, and I never did. That was poor by me. So let's have a look at them. They've only got 4, so it's going to be Hiromu Takahashi, Io Sky, Jun Kasai, and Tiger Mask. So one of those things is not like the others. I think would be one way of putting it. I mean that's going to be an interesting tour, isn't it? Let's say they're going to spin that out for all these days. But yeah, that's the roster there. I know you're all itching to see that, and I apologise I let you down in the last video, but there we go. Now you know. What's coming up in June? It's going to be All Japan will be announcing their touring roster, so they have quite a big roster. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Doring. He's one of them. Tajiri, there we went past. Anyway, move on. Move on very, very quickly. Ooh, some things have happened. NJPW have signed Freddie Prinze Jr. Triple A have signed Chris Sharp, don't know what that is. John Klinger's gone to Defy. WWE have signed Josh Barnett. I can't imagine that happening in real life, but you never know. Defy have released Christopher Daniels. Oh, I wonder why that is. Actually, speaking of which, WWE released Asuka, didn't they? So they essentially replaced Asuka with Josh Barnett. So not a like-for-like change, I think it's safe to say. But I did click on that, didn't I? Don't crash. There we go. Yeah, I can't sign Asuka. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a shame. Anywho, let's plow on. Let's continue to try and conquer the wrestling world with Control Your Narrative. Kind of wish I'd done this spade work before recording this video now, but I did some of it, I suppose. Put the event name in. Right, so here we are, Monday the 5th of May. It's going to be the first episode of Disruption of the month. We're down to 50% public image, but we are slowly but surely improving. Game Changer Wrestlers next in our sights. If we can get past them, that'd be good. And we're going to take down OV Dub. Hopefully. Alright, let's get on with it then. Actually, before we do, let's just have a quick recap of where we left the actual booking. And then we'll go from there. We'll book some new and exciting stuff. So, that was the last episode of Disruption. So Yuki, I said I was only going to call Yuki from now on. Yuki debuted. That is Mina Shirakawa's former tag team partner. And yeah, she's basically saying, hey, I'm here and I'm going to be involved in this Mina Shirakawa Blacklist storyline from now on. Adam Scherr turned up in his giant black Cadillac. Jake Atlas beat Grizzly Redwood, because why not? Chris Dickinson told Joe Hendry what a great guy he was, and then said, I need to focus on my wrestling now. Viano 4 beat Mac 10. Chuck O'Neill pretended to be a guy that was going to put a medal around, and I said Clark Gable. It's not Chad Gable, and it's definitely not Clark Gable, it's Gable Stevenson. So, yeah, he basically punched him. He punched him with a medal, and then knocked him off a fake medal stand. We had a debut. We had a video for the Whisper to show, hey, this guy's really cool. And then Adam Scherr retired Sean Morley, so he won't be wrestling anymore. So that's where we left it off. So we're not really started the build to War Without Peace, so that will kind of kick into gear in this video, hopefully. It won't if I don't get on with it though, but we're going to do that now, and we're going to start things off with a rather long angle, but an angle nonetheless, and it's going to be an ambush angle. and it's going to be a 2-on-1 ambush in the ring, but not quite. It's going to be 2-on-1 ambush in the ring, but with a difference. So it's going to be EC3 and Viano 4 attacking Shark Boy. So in this segment, if you remember, if you've been watching this series, EC3 threatened to make Shark Boy's life a living hell. And then in the last episode of Disruption, Shark Boy wasn't even on the show. So what would happen here? The show would start, we get the opening pyro and all the opening razzmatazz that we get. Shark Boy would come out, and again he'd call EC3 into the ring, who's obviously on commentary. And then Shark Boy says, "Oh, you know, is part of making my life a living hell was that the reason I wasn't booked last week? You're trying to cost me money, blah blah blah." EC3 gets in the ring, and then as he's about to start talking to him, and then as he does, Viano Force runs down, attacks Shark Boy from behind, beats him up. They both beat him up, and then Viano Force sits on Shark Boy's back, grabs his heads, and EC3 bends down and starts talking to him, saying, "Hey," and says something along the lines of, I'll try and make this entertaining, more entertaining than I've been so far, but he says, "You know, not booking you, that's too easy. Yeah, you know, it might cost you a bit of money, but all you'll do is, you've been in the business forever, you'll just get on the phone to some of your you can say TNA, why not? Some of your ex-TNA colleagues, and I'm sure they'll get you a gig somewhere. So, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I said I'm going to destroy your life, and that starts by destroying your gimmick, because underneath that shark mask, that is you. No one cares about, and we'll break the fourth wall and throw his real name in. I don't know what it is, but you can say his real name. No one cares about, I don't know, James Smith. People care about the mask on your head. So without that, you're nothing. No one cares about you. And like I said, I'm going to destroy your career. I'm going to make sure that you end up on is it welfare they call it in America. So coming up at War Without Peace, you're going to put that mask on the line. Because I'm booking you. Have I ruined it? Oh no, I haven't. That's fine. Yeah, I'm booking you in a mask versus mask match against this guy, and then he can go on about how Viano 4 when he was in Mexico, he's been in loads of mask versus mask matches and he's won them all. That's why he's still got his mask on. I don't know if that's true or not, but we can pretend it is. And so that's basically setting up. That's basically setting up the Shark Boy Viano 4 mask. It's going to be mask versus mask at War Without Peace, and then EC3 and then the pro by saying, and that's the welfare line because EC3 said so. So obviously Shark Boy used to saying that's the fishing line when he thought it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. So just a little callback to that there. I thought that'd be quite a nice little touch to end the pro. So yeah, so essentially he's forcing Shark Boy to put his mask on the line because that's his entire gimmick. So that's his livelihood. So if he loses his mask, he loses his livelihood. That's the point there. That promo sounded better in my head than when I actually said it. But again, that's why I hire writers to come up with something better than I just did then. And then we're going to have our opening contest for the evening. It is Jake Atlas taking on Mac 10. And Jake Atlas is going to win. So Mac 10's control narrative career is going well so far. We'll protect him a little bit though, we can say he cheats. No aftermath and no purpose, even though there is one, and that'll become apparent later on. Then we're going to have Mr. Happy in a video package. So it's going to be just a hype video for a worker, because why not? And it's going to be Adam Scher. Just, remember this guy, he's really big and really scary and really good. Moving on next to another match, and it's going to be Joe Doring, say his name in here, Joe Hendry, and he's going to be taking on perennial jobber Brian Johnson. If I need somebody to beat, we just give Brian Johnson a call. And he loses. He loses, of course, to Joe Hendry, who can win cleanly. Without an aftermath, there is an aftermath, but we'll not worry about that for now. no purpose. But this is 2 segments rolled into one, because after the match, we would get an appearance from Chase Owens. And the reason why I'm talking slowly is because I can't multitask. I'm just looking for the... There we go. Tag Challenger Mystery Partner. So, yeah, Joe Hendry beats Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson rolls out the ring, gets his paycheck and goes home. And then Chase Owens' music hits. He strolls out. And he says, "Oh, yeah, you beat me last week, didn't you? You beat me a few weeks ago. That's really good." And then that big bozo of your new BFF, that big bozo Chris Dickinson, thought it was funny. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you and your new bestie instead of running your mouth, why don't you get in the ring with me and my mystery partner? So he basically challenges Joe Hendry and Chris Dickinson to team up, and his mystery partner, I don't know why in this booking wizard I have to pick the mystery partner, because in a real promo he wouldn't say it. He'd say, "Oh, you know," and then this would obviously be used to hype up the new show. "Oh, it's our debut episode of Liberty on Wednesday on Hulu." So again, come and watch it. So free advertising. And I'm going to take you on. It's going to be you and Dicko against me and my mystery partner. Obviously, he wouldn't say who it is. So I'm going to put who it is in the wizard, but obviously I don't know why. But anyway, it's going to be David Finlay. So a bit of a spoiler there. So that's going to be his debut. Although I spoilt that in the last episode, so it's not much of one. But yeah, so it's going to be Chase Owens. Mystery partner is going to be revealed to be revealed to be David Finlay. So that sets that up. And then we have an interview, and this gives a purpose to the match earlier that I was talking about. So it's going to be Jake Atlas, and he's going to basically just rant and rave about not having any competition, and then probably again throwing the homophobia line of, "Well, I've just been putting these meaningless matches. It's because I'm gay, isn't it? I mean, that's why I'm being held down, or that's why I'm stuck in the opener against Brian Johnson." Things like that. So he talks about how great he is, but also keeps that homophobia gimmick going. Playing the homophobia card, even though that's not really what's happening. It's just all in his head, of course. And then the penultimate segment of the night is going to be a bit of a weird one. I think this was inspired by, was it? It was around 2000. I remember. I think it was a segment on SmackDown. It was Triple H, and he had Trish Stratus in a. I best finish this sentence quickly. He had Trish Stratus in a hammerlock, I think, and then Stephanie McMahon walked in on him, and it was around the time they were doing that brilliant Kurt Angle, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon love triangle, which I thought was fantastic. I mean, obviously at the time I think I was 11, so I thought everything was fantastic. But genuinely, that was really good. That was really interesting, and that kind of propelled that storyline and almost threatened to push Stephanie into Kurt's arms. That's why they did it. But we're going to do something. We're going to do something that looks like that here, but it's not really. So it's going to be a Diva angle. And it's going to be, so Diva walks in on an unintentional so I think that what I've just described inspired this to be in this booking wizard. So what's going to happen here is it's going to be Yuki, our friend Yuki, and it's going to be Maki Itoh and Chris Dickinson. So of course, Yuki's here to look out for a friend, Mina. So obviously, she's going to go and see Chris Dickinson, see if he knows anything. So you'd see her walking down the corridor. She'd get to the door. It'd have Chris Dickinson's name on it. She'd knock on the door. Wouldn't get an answer. Then just walk in anyway. And Maki Itoh would be sort of like in there, but like sort of throwing herself at him, and he's trying to like fight her off, but basically, you get the idea. So, because of course Maki Itoh has been sort of trying to play a bit of a spoiler between Mina and Chris and kind of wind Mina up. So that's what would happen there, and then Yuki would just like run off, or Maki would start laughing, Yuki would run off, and Chris would be a bit annoyed and then kick Maki out. So like, "Oh, I hope you're happy now," and then he throws her out, and then she just laughs and like skips away, something like that. Skips away singing terribly. And then last up, we've got the main event, and it's a tag team match player and it's the team of Chuck O'Neill and the Whisper taking on the team of Clark Gable and Bateman. So no prizes for guessing who's going to lose this match. Of course, Chuck beats Bateman. And why not? Just for no reason really, other than to just keep the Chuck O'Neill and Clark Gable feud going. Right, so that is the next episode of Disruption. So let's see what sort of rating we can get. And you know what? If you'd offered me that, I'd have snapped your hand off, so that's good. So Viano 4 getting over as we build that rivalry up. Ready for the war without peace. PLE that's not a PLE coming up. Good, that was a good match. That could have been better. Maybe it was lazy and didn't put much effort in during the filming. I don't know. That's fine. Yeah, so I've given Joe Hendry. I've given David Finlay a new gimmick. That was a good segment. Although, yeah, so if you read that, yeah, it says he announced his mystery partner is David Finlay. Now, I don't. There isn't an option. I had a look through before I did this. I loaded up an old game that I had when I loaded up a game that I'm not recording and just got to a show and then just had a quick look through the segments. And there isn't a segment to do that without revealing the mystery partner. It's really irritating. So, but yeah, in reality, the partner wouldn't be revealed. But anyway, hey ho, doesn't matter. That's fine. Oh, that was a good segment. Yeah, there we go. Chris puts on a hammerlock and Itoh bends over to counter. Yeah, so again, it's the Trish Stratus thing, isn't it? And yeah, that's fine. That was pretty good. That was a good show. 63%, we'll take that. Achieved what it needed to achieve, set a few things up, moved a few things along. All good stuff. Brought in a decent rating. Didn't sell more tickets, so I haven't put my advertising up. I don't really know. Cheers, Jerry. That's why I pay the big bucks. Thank you for that. Right, so we're now one day removed from the debut episode of Liberty. If you haven't worked out why I've called it that yet, then I'll leave you to your own thoughts. But yeah, I feel like there's something I need to do. But then I'm trying to think what it is. If there isn't anything, we can just crack on. Yeah, oh yeah, that was it. David Finlay. So I've changed it. His gimmick was Family Guy for some reason. I don't think it's because he wears green trousers and a white shirt, or talks about pierced nipples. But yeah, his gimmick was Family Guy, and I've changed it to Underworld. It's basically like sort of. I'm trying to sort of. It's a bit like his Bullet Club leader gimmick that he's got at the minute. Kind of like a evil overlord. Well, not an overlord, but you know what I mean. He's obviously like head of a faction at the minute. I think. I haven't watched New Japan for. I don't know. Yeah, I've got a New Japan World subscription, but yeah, I only watch Wrestle Kingdom and Dominion pretty much. I used to, before AEW started, particularly when I had more time. I did used to watch it more regularly. Like I used to watch the entire G1. I'd always tune in for that, and then, you know, Wrestling Dontaku, and I think they've got one called Power Struggle, I think, and Sakura Genesis, things like that. But yeah, I just don't have the time anymore. But I haven't cancelled the subscription just because I'll always tune in for Wrestle Kingdom. So anyway, that's my spending habit shared with everybody. So Wednesday, the 7th of May, the debut episode of Liberty. I forgot what it was called then. So let's get on with it. And we're going to kick things off with a debut. So what we're not going to do. So brand new show on a new network. What we're not going to do is start off by having a guy who's been portrayed as a heel on our product for a year come out and cut a babyface promo, hug our top babyface, and then cut a promo on the executives of the channel that we're now on. We're not going to do that. I mean, if you want to do that, that's up to you. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is kick things off with... I mean, I can't book this, to be fair. But what would happen is Adam Scherr would be in the ring, because obviously he's part of the he's kind of part of the management, but not quite. And I say not quite because this EC3, I'm trying to avoid this EC3 thing becoming like another Vince versus Austin rivalry. I mean, even though that's kind of the template and the blueprint, that's the lightning in the bottle everyone's trying to catch again, isn't it? When you have the evil authority figure. But quite ironic, really, given that Shark Boy pretended to be Steve Austin. That's what we're running. But that's just a coincidence. So anyway, Adam Scherr's going to come out. Again, I can't book this, but it would happen. And he's going to start. Oh, welcome everybody to a new show, Liberty. It's going to be this, that, and the other. And then Jake Atlas would walk out and interrupt him and say, "Oh yeah, you don't want, welcome on to the new show, but don't put don't start with the gay guy. You don't want to put him on. You know, I'm not even booked tonight. Oh, so why is that? You don't want the gay guy on the season premiere or whatever you want to call it. Again, playing the homophobia card, and then Adam Scherr because the thing is that, and that's why I like this idea. I mean, I shouldn't pat myself on the back, but that's why I like this homophobia idea, because it's like, if Adam Scherr turns around and whacks him and punches him one, it's almost like he's kind of proving him right, if that makes sense. Even though that's not why he's doing it, he's punching him because he's just been an idiot, basically. But so Jake Atlas would come out and interrupt. Adam Scherr would walk off, but you could tell that he could have laid him out, but he chooses not to. Discretion and valor and all that. And we end up getting a debut out of it. So we'll go for the dueling microphones thing again. So yeah, Jake Atlas comes out, starts burying Scherr about the LGBTQ community not being the gay person not being used, I should say. Sorry. So as he's rattling on, we get a debut, and it's a debut of Sonny Kiss. So we've signed Sonny Kiss. So what would happen is, obviously, Jake would be doing his rant. Sonny Kiss would interrupt and basically bury him for saying, like, I don't like the way you're not representing the LGBTQ, whatever it is. I don't know what. Forgive me, it's a community I know absolutely nothing about, so forgive me for my ignorance. But whatever it's called, or whatever acronym it is, Sonny Kiss says, well, I don't like the way you're representing this community. You're giving us all a bad name, blah 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 blah. And I'm here to put it right. I'm here to show that we're not like, not everyone's like you. So he's standing up to him, basically. Like I said, I'm trying to come up with a storyline about a community that I know absolutely nothing. I know little to nothing about. So, we'll figure something out. It's not real anyway, is it? So who cares? Just don't offend anybody, which is, I suppose that's modern life, isn't it? You try and go around not to offend anybody, but anyway, let's move on before I do say something offensive, unintentionally, of course. And then we're going to move on from that to our first match, and it's quite a significant match, actually. So it's the match that was set up during the Hammerlock segment in the last show, and it's Maki Itoh's first match that's not taken place at a PLE that's not a PLE. So it's going to be Maki Itoh taking on Yuki, our good friend Yuki. There's going to be no title of the line, because there isn't a title. And Maki is going to win. And I kind of want Yuki to win, but if I set Yuki to win, Maki will probably moan, because Yuki's just not over at all. But she can win clearly. We can just pretend that Yuki... She can win clearly, but we'll say Yuki can get distracted by Mina, thinking about Mina or something like that, or some kind of shenanigans can happen that makes her worried about a tag team partner when actually, and then Maki just pins her because of it. No aftermath, and no purpose, even though there is one, obviously, because it's carrying on that little storyline. Alright. And then next up, we're going to have another match. So I've got to have, so the thing with late evening is I've got to have 3 matches out of 6 segments, which is really irritating, which is a high percentage for me. But that's the hand we've been dealt, so we're going to deal with it. If that makes sense. So this match is going to be Viano 4 taking on Jervis Cottonbelly. Now, this was a little bit of a happy coincidence, if you like, which I'll explain when I finish the booking. So Jervis is actually going to win, which hopefully doesn't lose Viano for the overness that he gained in the last segment. Jervis wins it, but he wins it by DQ. And then I can't do the... When you do the DQ finish, you can't do the beatdown thing, which is really irritating, but there'd be a beatdown. Actually, what we'll do. We'll go for EC3 running in and attacking Jervis. That's what we'll do. And it's to build up to a future match. To build up to a match for, obviously, Viano and... Sharkboy. Sorry, I got distracted then by the spawn of Satan that lives next door. But let's not worry about my living situation. But anywho, so yeah, So what would happen here is Viano would forward come out, Jervis Cottonbill would come out, EC3 would again remind people, Viano forced putting his mask on the line, so. Against another masked wrestler, so I want to get him used to. Beating up masked wrestlers. He beat Mac 3 last. He beat Mac 10. Mac 3. That's the reason, is it? He beat Mac 10. He beat Mac 10 last week, and this week he's going to beat you, Jervis Cottonbelly. So they start wrestling. It goes on for about 30 seconds. They go up to the ring, and then he just whacks him with a ring bell or something. I don't know. There's an instant DQ, and then EC3 gets in the ring. Attacks Jervis Cottonbelly, pins him down, and then just cuts a promo basically on Sharkboy while he's sort of pinning him down. And you say, thanks Jervis for letting Viano forward. Don't worry, this wasn't a mask versus mask match, or and your mask. And then he threatens to rip his mask off, but he doesn't. He says, don't worry, your mask's okay, but Sharkboy won't be so lucky. And by the way, Sharkboy, your match is now no DQ, so when Viano 4 whacks you with a ring bell, it's going to be all legal. So again, that builds up. That's just building up that. When I said the happy coincidence, it was a happy coincidence that the last couple of matches I've booked, it's been Viano 4's been taking on masked wrestlers again to kind of get him in the mood for taking on somebody who's wearing a mask. That just sets up the fact that match is now going to be a hardcore match. 32 minutes I've been talking, and we've still got 3 segments to book. Right, let's get on with it. Let's crack on, and we're going to have an interview now with Adam Scher. I should have said Sonny Kiss. I meant to say that, I forgot. Anyway, he's going to target Jake Atlas and basically just say what I said earlier. If you ever interrupt him again, he'll kick his butt, basically. Press the right button, there we go. So that's the purpose of that. And it stops Adam Scher, keeps Adam Scher out the ring, stops him having terrible matches because he's not happy with me for some reason. Probably because I stuck him in a death match with Omos. It's enough to annoy anybody. But anywho, next segment we're going to set up yet another match for War Without Peace. It's going to be a call out and a challenge. Challenge for the next big event, and it's going to be Chuck O'Neill calling out Clark Gable, and he'll just say that this rather needs to end. You beat me. I beat you in a wrestling match. You beat me in a cage match. We need to end this. So I'm challenging you, and it's going to be a Texas death match. Now, for the best of my knowledge, a Texas death match, a traditional Texas death match. I could be wrong here actually, but I think I've only seen one. I think it was Ric Flair and Terry Funk, and I'm pretty sure that this is what they did. But somebody pins somebody for a 3, and then they've got to answer a 10 count. So it's almost like a last man standing match combined with a normal match. So you pin them for the 3. If they don't get up after 10, then beyond that you win. The guy wins. So the reason I'm booking a Texas death match is it's almost like, because it's like 2 matches in one, they've had 2 different types of matches against each other. One where you need to get it's a submission rather than a pinfall. And then one where, a cage match. Where, I don't know anything about MMA, but I think in MMA, you can win by a knockout, but it's not a 10 count. I think the referee just steps in and stops. If they think they're knocked out, they just step in and stop it. They don't even bother with the don't even bother with the 10 count. So I'm trying to, basically, the point I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to merge the two styles together by having a wrestling match and you can win by a knockout match sort of thing. That's the harebrained idea anyway. So that's what it would be. So yeah, that's something else to look forward to at War Without Peace. And then the final segment is going to be the tag team match that we set up. So Joe Hendry and Chris Dickinson gets back in the ring for the... I can't remember the last time he wrestled Chris Dickinson. And they're going to be taking on Chase Owens and David Finlay. So we'd play off the fact... To be fair, I don't think the timeline quite lines up, but we'd play off the fact that Chase Owens was in Bullet Club and David Finlay's in Bullet Club. I mean, like I said, I don't think the timeline quite lines up. I think that's... this is a 2022 database. I don't think Finlay joined. Anyway, I don't know. But you get the idea. We can just pretend that he did. So yeah, that's the match, and it's going to end when Finlay pins Dickinson, not Hendry. And the reason why it's Dickinson, to be fair, it doesn't really matter, but we'll go for Dickinson, is because there's an interference. It's a rare appearance from the Blacklist. So it's Patrick Clark and Mandy. I'll say Mandy Rose as well. Why not? We'll have to pay her. So he wins by interference. So those two run in, assault Dickinson, and then he gets pinned. So still no Mina Shirakawa. So we're keeping Mina off TV. It's just these two. Mina's still missing in action. If you like. So yeah, Mina's still gone, but those two run in. And then they continue to attack. They continue to beat down Chris Dickinson. And that's to build up to something else that just keeps that storyline moving along. Right, 37 minutes in, let's get on with it, because this video is going to be 40 minutes long and I didn't want it to be. But I've digressed quite a few times, much like Taz. Good, that was a good segment, that's fine. Yeah, that kind of sucked, but I was expecting it. That was a good... Wow, that was way better than I thought it was going to be. I feel like I've booked that match before. That feels like a match I would have booked before when I was building Viano 4 up against... Has he already feuded with Shark Boy? My misremembering. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. If he has... We've got a tiny roster. We're going to have rematches at some point. Good. Yeah, we'll take that. 64%. Perfect. Excellent. Right, how many people turned up for that? Let's see. 178 people turned up for Limited. We've got a 0.83 rating. Bearing in mind we're up against OV Dub, up against Old Al, with, you know, he's establishing that time slot. We're coming in to take it to him. No, that's good. So we're not suffering because we're up against OVW, so that's encouraging. Yeah, well, you know, he was too stiff with Mina, although that sounds wrong. But you get the idea. So, sorry, Chase, you have to just put up with it, buddy. You probably should be, but you're retiring, so we don't need to worry about it, do we? Yeah. So, yeah, cool. That was, well, considering it's Friday the 13th, apart from the cretins that live next door turning up while I was recording, I say turning up, they didn't come to the house, it's just... Basically, where my house is and their houses, I can hear them and I'll see them. So that's all I meant from where I record from. So that's if you're wondering why I'm moaning about them. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah. So yeah. Apart from that, pretty good. That all went pretty well, I thought. I mean, the only downside is it's 39 minutes and I still haven't started saying goodbye yet, and that takes me 5 minutes. But apart from that, it's gone pretty good. So let me just check one thing, and then I will start the outro. Yeah, they're happy. That's good. I mean, yeah, that's fine. So we're getting the ratings that we need. Hopefully, as I said, I just needed to take a show, and then I can maybe hopefully move the time slot. If I can ask to move the time slot to early evening. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, they're not willing to do that at the minute, but hopefully we can get to a point where they are. We may get onto early evening, so we can get the slot we actually want. I mean, with the disruption. I need to renew the contract, which we'll sort out in the near future. But see, they're willing to move it to prime time. The problem is if I go to prime time, I'm up against Raw, and I'm pretty sure that I'll not be very competitive against them. But I could be wrong. It could be worth taking and taking a chance and trying to take down the man. But that is all something that we can worry about going forward. But for now, well, it is sayonara, but I need to do the whole outro. But yeah, for now, we're pretty much done. So that is the end of this episode. Apologies for the length, me rabbiting on about a load of rubbish. But we need to put some things in place. But yeah, as I said, that's the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, for whatever reason, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video, should you choose to do that. Hopefully I'll hear from you, Mike, and anybody else that wants to comment. That'd be absolutely fantastic. While you're on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, you'll find the rest of the videos in this playlist. If there's anything that you have missed, I want to see how we got to this point, then please go and check that out. You'll also find a myriad of other games and video content for your viewing pleasure over there on the channel. If you're enjoying this series and want to see me book a different promotion, then I did do a year-long series where I booked PWG. So please go and check that out. Also, if you like wrestling, I have played through WWE Crush Hour. So again, if that sounds like your bag, please go and watch those videos. If you don't like wrestling, then I'm not really sure how you are hearing this, but if that is the case, then there is lots and lots of other non-wrestling related content for you to enjoy. But join me next time. We're going to be moving on. We're going to be continuing the build to War Without Peace. But until at that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.